transforming worlds to a better wonder to behold. No poverty, zero hunger for the elderly or younger. Good health and well-being, good education, empowering women to become sensation. Clean water, sanitation is a right of every nation. Economic growth inclusive and sustained through industry, innovation, and purely dedication. Yeah, infrastructure be gain. Reduce inequality for sure. Make human settlements secure. Take urgent actions to combat climate change. Conserve life below water and land. Ensure we do not estrange. Justice for all, a peaceful and empathetic nations. Let us all partner to achieve these goals and provide much needed salvation. Each one teach 10, no compensation. Each one teach 10, no compensation.
Hi everyone, good morning, good evening, namaste, hola, bonjour, geremer, terve, and maravan. This is Lamia Joshi, your host for the day. Welcome to episode 70 of the podcast, Each One, Teach 10, An Amazing World of STEM, an inspiring venture where we'll be discussing that STEM is part of every day for every kid. We all will be learning together how to build a STEM culture. Well, for today, my guest is Miss Maarit Rossi, who is the founder and CEO of Path to Math Ltd. Her broad experience in the field of education is grounded based on her career and expertise in the world popular Finnish education system. She's a former mathematics teacher and principal. She's an author of 9 mathematics textbooks, several pedagogic articles, and publications. It's my honor to have you today here, Miss Maarit. How are you doing today?
Hello, Namia, and everybody there. I'm fine, thank you.
So, how's your day been, and how's the weather like today in Finland?
The days are coming shorter because we are coming near the winter, and I was doing some gardening today, putting more flowers in my garden.
Oh, that's really cute and great. The flowers look really pretty when when we're doing gardening.
Yes, and it's a good time to do gardening in the autumn because it's starting to rain, so the new plants will be strong in the spring.
Absolutely. So, we would love to know more about you and the work that you're doing. And I believe our audience is eagerly excited to know more about you as well.
Thank you for your introduction. What I would say that I have been a math teacher and a principal. Now I'm retired from those work, but I'm a passionate educator. So I'm still traveling around the world, giving lectures, mostly training teachers to use more active methods. And not only math teachers, because the same methods you can use also in other subjects. And then also teachers from other countries are coming to Finland, and sometimes I help them to visit schools and introduce the system of Finnish education.
Wow, that's really amazing that you love to travel all over the world, give lectures, train teachers to use active teaching and learning methods, and also having teachers over to Finland to learn about how they could also use those amazing learning strategies in their classroom. So I'll move on to my first question for you. So, what was the pivotal moment that inspired you to develop innovative approach to teaching mathematics?
I was first teaching mathematics the same way as I was taught, and I was a little bit I have problems because students were not motivated. They didn't learn. Only some students liked the system that we used. And then I thought that I have to change. I have to change something. And I actually started to change so that I developed some board games and tried to do everything what I could. And one day, one student were running in the corridor of the school shouting, "We didn't do any math today." And actually they did very hardly mathematics. But then I noticed that when you do it in different way, they are really excited. And I think that was the moment when I started to develop the whole teaching of mathematics. And also I joined to the groups of science teachers who wanted to develop methods in Finland.
Wow, that's absolutely magnificent that you were first teaching in the way that you were taught. But since you realized that not all students learn in the same way, and you started to use board games, and then there was a student running in the corridor saying we didn't do any maths today. So that's when you realized that when we use different ways, students learn, in a better way. And that's really amazing and inspirational as well, that you realized what was the issue and you stepped in the shoe of the students and you made them also understand in the way that they want to learn. So that's amazing and inspirational.
Thank you, but I have to say that it take many years. I think I started this about, you were not even existing in this world. I think I started 1990 when I understood that we have to make math not only memorizing, copying, it has to be connected to students' life, it have to be something to research, to make in, even to find something which human being have find thousands years ago. Of course, they don't have to find everything, but it's a so great moment when they discover a formula themselves or some qualities of their geometrical shapes, for example.
Absolutely. It reminds me of my math teacher in grade 9. So we had online classes that time because of the COVID outbreak. And we were introduced the topic of sets. And she used this activity that she gave us a random sets. And and every set, let's say A is equal to, and she gave options like plants, biodegradable, non-biodegradable, plastic, paper. So she basically, app smashed environment with mathematics. So she taught us the importance of recycling, reducing, and how we should basically focus on waste management. At the same time, we learned the concept of sets in a very simple and easy way. So, like, that reminds me of that example and the way she introduced the topic of sets, and also for a good purpose to make us understand the importance of waste management. So, like,
Yes,
the small things that teachers do, they really make us feel happy.
yes, and when students are doing something that they are interested, they actually want to learn more. And then as a teacher, I also have a good time to have a more traditional mathematics. So it is strengthening also the traditional mathematics, but you have to have there every now and then something what they are more active.
Absolutely, totally agree with that. And do keep putting up your comments in the chat box, and we'll be taking up questions as well. So go ahead. All right, moving on to my next question for you. Can you share one of the unconventional methods you've used to teach mathematics outside the classroom?
One what comes to my mind is that when I teach exponential things, the big numbers, and we make the model of solar systems. In the books, usually they can draw the distances of the planets, okay, but then they have to lose the sizes of the planets. And if they try to draw the sizes of the planets, then they lose the distances of the planets. So with my students, on the base of their knowledge, what are the distances and the sizes, they have to first solve the problem, what is the scale, and then for example, in that scale, the sun maybe is about the the diameter about a half meter, and then the planets comes very, very tiny. But then when they count the distances, I have a group of students who take the different planets, and some students are in the center keeping the sun, and then they are counting the distances where they have to go. And of course, we have to go outside, we go to the sport area, and then they notice that they can't even put the farthest planets because I couldn't see them anymore. So they get some kind of idea what are the big numbers, and some student can say that this model is not good because it's plain and it's not moving, so they want to begin to move in their sport area, but still they are in the plane, and they are talking about the model, how it could be improved. And afterwards, also those students who have different planets, they tell to the others about the qualities they have. So in many ways, we can also combine other subjects to the mathematics, just as like you told your example.
Absolutely, that I must say is really impressive that you use the concept of exponents of models of source systems. Like in the books, you have to draw the distance between planets. But when students are drawing the sizes of planets, they lose the distance. So they take the scale, like sun's diameter, you mentioned half meter, the planets become very tiny. So the students start counting the distance while moving around the campus, going to the sports hall, to the library, or different places, and some don't fit. So that gives them the idea, as you mentioned, about the distance between the planets, and they learn the distance as well. So this is a really great example of kinesthetic learning by using, body movements or moving around. And it's a really good way for students to use the psychological mindset and learn in a better way. Like some of them like to see and learn, but some of them also like to move around and learn. Like you had a tried thrown light upon the students in your class. So that I must say is really amazing.
Yes, and because students have different qualities. Some students, they have difficulties to understand something, but some students are so excited that one student said that he wants to now count how much it takes for him to travel from this planet to this planet, and he thought about the speed of the really those rackets, but also the speed of their voice. So
Mhm.
in many times in mathematics, when it's not so coping and memorizing, there are so many levels where all the students will get their places where they are good.
Truly. We have so many comments coming in in the chat. We have Miss Mary Allen. I like linking maths across the curriculum and to real life.
Super.
I like this. I didn't like math at school. Now, as a teacher, I know there are better ways to teach numeracy, but I'm frustrated to see other teachers just teaching methods the same way as they were taught.
That's and that's really sad, but we have to make it. We have to fight. And actually, it's funny when you are doing something different. The students in the school from other classes, they know it, and they begin to say, "Why we don't do this like?" So there will be a pressure to other teachers. So
Yeah,
we just have to continue.
I have seen that in my own school. Sometimes a teacher uses one method, so we usually tend to tell the other fellow mates in other classes that our teacher used this method. So they usually go and tell ma'am we want that method to be used. So that's very common. That's an innovative way and involves students with experiential learning. Cross-cultural content makes learning more meaningful.
Of course. Thank
That's
you.
great. All right, moving on to my next question for you. I want to ask you that traveling to countries like India, Pakistan, Tanzania, Brazil, and Turkey, to lecture and train teachers is quite extensive. What are some common challenges you've observed in math education across these diverse regions?
When I started to develop mathematics education methods, how to teach it with other teachers, it was in the beginning of 2000, and in Finland we also knew that we get a curriculum, and I thought that everybody is doing this change, how we have to publish our books early enough, and suddenly we were the only ones. And I think that now in Finland, after 20 years, now our curriculum is something what we did already 20 years earlier. So when I have been traveling around the world, I have noticed that the situation is quite same than it was in Finland 20 years ago. So mostly students don't like the mathematics. And the reason is not the student, it's the way how it is taught. And sometimes when I'm longer time in the country, I said to the teachers before I arrive that please ask student to draw, when you get a new group, ask them to draw a typical picture of math lesson. And then in the training, we look the pictures, and they are like they were with my students when I started. They are drawing themselves alone with very stressed colors. Or if they are drawing a whole classroom, they are sitting separate, they are thinking something, where is the lunchtime? What did I do yesterday? Or the teacher is on the blackboard, blah, blah, blah. They put some kind of this text. So you can very quickly see what is the attitudes of the students to mathematics if you ask them to draw a typical picture. And this is very common in many countries. Of course, there are exceptional teachers, exceptional schools, but I think this is a global problem, a big problem, and it's really sad because this is the way how we close possibilities for students to have many different occupations and professionalities what they are dreaming, because they are not successful in the mathematics.
Truly, I totally understand that. And like you said, that after 20 years, the curriculum in Finland is what you did 20 years earlier. And I can relate to the fact that students usually don't like maths. It is due to the way it's taught and not just because of us, because we've always seen students being stressed. Like you gave a wonderful example of asking students to draw a math lesson. Then what you got as response, like bored, alone, with stressed colors, teacher speaking, students listening. And it is indeed a big global problem. And it does close the possibility to students who want to excel in amazing fields that require mathematics as a subject, or to take up great courses that need math. But just because it just has a mindset development that it is pretty tough, or it's pretty boring, or we cannot get marks. But when it is taught in a wonderful way by the teachers, and they're using interesting methods to teach us, and also take interesting assessment methods, then that builds up the interest of students, and they're reiterating the concept with different ways to teach us. Then I believe the subject becomes very simple to understand. And it is not just with maths, like subjects that include math, like economics or accounts. When the concept becomes easier to understand, that is only when we're using interesting ways. So indeed, a global problem that needs to be solved.
Yes, and when we are changing the methods, how the students are learning, we also have to change the assessment methods. They have to be also more versatile. So it's very interesting area.
Truly. Now in India, math is mental gymnastics. I believe that everywhere. Math is indeed mental gymnastics. You have to do a lot of calculations to get the right answer. But if you have the right way to learn, you get the right way to solve. We have Citizen Cancum. Happy to be here. Greetings from Ghana. Thank you for being here.
Lovely.
We have Miss Amanda. For me, math at school was drudgery. Pages and pages of questions without context. When I became a teacher, I was determined to make connections in the world and across the curriculum for my class.
Very good. I'm happy to hear.
I think both the learners and facilitators have to have the passion about what they're both doing, and that will also help achieve whatever we are looking in the classroom.
And I think that the teacher can wake up the passion to the mathematics.
Truly. So important to change the assessment methods so that they are aligned with how we are teaching now. That's really amazing. We have lovely comments coming in the chat. Well, I have an amazing question to ask you, like a fun question. Which is your favorite place in Finland?
My home country. I'm living in Turku, and my favorite place is the islands near the Turku area. Archipelago we call. And actually they said that only in Greece they have something similar than we have also. So we have thousands of lakes near
Yes.
their country.
Absolutely. Finland is indeed a land of lakes. And like for me, I have not been to Lapland, but I really wish to visit that some time in the future. And I wish to also go to Santa's, workplace in, I think it's near
Rovaniemi.
the northern area. Yes,
And
absolutely.
yes,
And to the Northern Lights someday.
yeah.
Though I've visited thrice, but I didn't get to see the Northern Lights. I came in November, but I think Northern Lights is sometime in January, February, if I'm not wrong.
And sometimes they come and sometimes not. Sometimes people are waking all over the night and want to see them and they don't come.
Yeah.
I think I have seen only a couple of times the Northern Lights, so they are not like a shopping thing.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
winter time in Lapland is beautiful, really beautiful, with a huge amount of snow, and the color of the sky is a little bit different than here in south where I am now in Turku.
Have you met Santa?
Of course. I have actually even the picture when I'm sitting in Santa's lap.
Oh, wow. That's really amazing.
Yes.
I also wish to meet him sometime. I've seen a picture, but I want to take a picture with him soon, sometime in the future.
Yes.
Okay, thank you for answering that question. Like a really lovely answer. Now, my question for you is, as one of the top 10 finalists for the Global Teacher Prize in 2016, could you share a memorable moment or experience from the recognition and how it influenced your career in education?
Oh, it was really amazing moment. Of course, I saw Mr. Sani Varke of Varke Foundation, who has developed and running this competition. And in that moment, also His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, who is the Vice President and Prime Minister of United Arab Emirates and the ruler of Dubai, was there. So I felt like it was the most amazing moment in my life. And then actually the voice from Stephen Hawking, he announced our names one by one to go in front of the stage. And of course, it was amazing when the Pope Francis announced who was the winner from the video. And maybe also what I really remember, that before we went there, they invited us a room which was full of film stars. And everybody was shocked. And actually, I have a picture where I am with Matthew McConaughey and Selma Hayek. They are in the same picture with me.
Wow. That's all
And
inspiring, like Max McConaughey. Wow.
it changed my life, because from that moment people also came more interested about the methodology which I used in mathematics. And after I have been training a little bit, mostly Finnish teachers earlier, but I could say that from that moment started the questions that could you come here and could you be a lecturer in this conference? Could you be training the teachers? So it changed a lot of my life.
Wow, awe-inspiring, honestly. Meeting Mr. Sani Warki of the Warki Foundation, meeting the Vice President and ruler of Dubai, and that totally defines it as the most amazing moment of your life. And I really find that voice of Stephen Hawking announcing your names really amazing. And meeting like people, film stars, and that's really amazing, I must say. And I understand like how people like getting inclined to ideology that you've been using, because they're able to understand the amazing essence of the way that you are using maths. So they want their students as well, to have that same way of learning. So amazing, truly inspiring.
Thank you. It was really a great. And also with that, there was a global education and skills forum where were a lot of important educators talking. So they combined this teacher prize competition results, and at the same times there come people about talking about education in the whole world. So
Absolutely.
it was
The
amazing.
Global Teacher Prize is like a really amazing initiative, because the teachers are also given an opportunity to learn from the ones who are coming in top 50, in top 10, and the one who's winning as well, because they're able to learn through their ways of teaching. Because at the end of the day, it's learning from people and implementing that learning, and also sharing with the people, and also learning how you could enhance your way of teaching in the classroom. It's always a two-way connection, and inspiring people with your ideologies and learning from others.
Totally, I agree. And also that competition puts the value of the teachers all over the world very important. If we want to change our societies, if we want to have welfare, you need teachers to help do the change. We are actually
Yes.
change makers.
Yes, and you are the people who make the change makers as well, the students.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Okay, moving to my next question for you. So, Paths to Math Ltd offers e-learning materials from grades 6 to 9. Can you detail some of the specific resources and features that make your platform effective for both teachers and students?
Actually, there are 3 pages where you can go. You sign in, sign up, and you will immediately see some of the material. It has been done some years ago, so it's not like the games full of activities and but if you look many of these modern things, actually there is not much behind the stars and running and happening. But what Path to Math is offering, it is offering really, if there is a new content in the mathematics, the starting point is very student friendly, maybe some research, maybe some game, maybe some what you have to notice. Then there comes like other math books, more typical task, and in the end there is how you can apply this new thing in the real life. So I think the best part of the Path to Math is the starting point and the end, because they are what is missing in many books and education in the mathematics. So
Truly.
So there is the material for the teacher and for the students. There are some videos. Then there are teachers' answers, but otherwise it looks a little bit like a book. So there are not such kind of interactivities, because I think that the most important is what is happening in the classroom when the teacher is there. Not so that the students are alone doing some memorizing, repeating, boring task. So please
Understandable. And yes,
go
please
there.
go ahead. Of course, it's really like spectacular the way you've made this entire platform, which is really student friendly with researches or with games and the math books that have typical tasks. And what I really love is the application in real life, because usually when we're learning maths, like for example, trigonometry. So when we were introduced to that, like in 10th, it was pretty easy. But in 11th grade, trigonometry was just the opposite of what it was in grade 10. And we were asking our math teacher, like, what is the use of trigonometry in real life? So she said, like, it's just about, it makes your brain sharper, and we don't have much application, but yeah, it's being used like in engineering or different ways. But when we know like which, field we want to take and which field requires which concept of maths, that is how, we're able to understand which concept is applied where. And like you also mentioned about starting and end being the most amazing part of the book, because of the platform, because starting and ending is exactly what matters. That when we begin a concept in the class, it has to be an amazing starting and a magnificent ending to the concept, so that we can have a good introduction, at the same time end the topic, that everything that we learned remains in the brain, and we know which formula or which concept we learned to apply where. And it's basically what you also threw light upon, that happening in the classroom, what is happening in the classroom is what is more important, and not students just being alone and learning again and again and doing the same tests, but understanding from the teacher who's using your materials in the classroom.
And why I still continue this training teachers is, I think the reason are actually the students. My student didn't anymore ask where we need this math. They ask what we shall do to next lesson. So the message and feedback which I got, the children, they are still my strength.
That's really amazing. So, if you have any questions for Miss Mary, you can put them in the chat. But before we end, I would love to ask you where we can find you online. And we'd also love to have a message from you to the audience watching us live. Well, I don't think we have any questions. So, Miss Mary, let's go ahead with you. We'd love to know where we can find you online, where people can connect with you, and we'd love to have a message as well from your side for the audience watching us. Am I audible, Miss Mary?
Sorry?
I'm asking, am I audible?
What you want to ask? Sorry, I didn't understand.
I was asking you where can people connect with you online, as well
Yes.
as we would love to have a message for the audience who's listening us
Okay.
live.
Do I have to do something, or you connect them?
Oh, you just have to tell where people can find you on LinkedIn, on Instagram, or also we'd love to have a message.
Okay. So you find Paths to Math from going pathstomath.com. That's the web page. And then my Instagram is Maarit. And then there comes a line, Rossi. That's my Instagram. My Twitter is probably, if I remember right, Paths to Math. So this is how you can connect me. And if you want to write me, my email is maarit.rossi@pathtomath.com.
Oh, amazing. Thank you so much for saying that. And also, a lovely message to end the discussion today from your side.
Okay, if you are a parent, I would say that don't ever say that our family is not good in math, because there are research that if you say something, the students begin to think that, okay, my father didn't understand math, so it is something kinetic. I can't do it either. So don't close the mind of your child. If there comes a math problem which you can't help, you can say, wow, this is interesting. Let's try to find somebody who helps us. Because I think math is so important. It opens the path to so many trainings, so many occupations, so many places. And I'm sure you don't want to close the doors from your child. This is my message.
Wow, that's amazing. Like, of course, don't close the doors for your child. Let them explore and live the world of amazing mathematics.
Mm.
So I try to learn something in Finnish. I'll try to speak it. Olen aina pitänyt matematiikasta. Se on tarkin ja utemakin tapa ilmaista ajatus. I don't know if I said that right.
Super good. You
Oh,
said that math is very important and it's the way to express yourself.
actually, yep, that's exactly what I said. I think I'm becoming a little better in pronouncing Finnish now because I have been learning.
You are very good.
Thank you
Very
so
good.
much. Thank
My
you.
pleasure. Thank you and have a nice weekend, everybody.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And thank you, Miss Mary, as well. And I'll see you in the next episode. Till then, each one, teach 10. Have a nice day.